All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the VillinENT podcast, part of the VillinENT network. My name is Aaron.
My name's Jack.
And as a reminder, before we get started today, we are on all major podcast services, Spotify, Apple, Google, all of the good ones. So give us a follow, a rating, whatever you could there. Everything helps. And don't forget to check out the other VillinENT channels. We got the gaming channel. I know I haven't been doing too much lately, but Jack has moved beyond Tetris.
We've been rocking some WWE 2K 2022. I think we're on right now.
Yeah, that would be it.
We've been dropping some elbow drops, so give us a like on there when you get a chance.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for Modern Warfare 2 to drop. It should be out pretty soon. So I got that. That's cross-platform, so we might be able to do some multiplayer there.
That'd be awesome.
Got a few games coming out actually in October and November that I'm waiting on because God of War expansion comes out. There's a few things coming out soon, so
Nice.
yeah, should be a good month for streaming games.
When's the next time you think you'll be on there?
It's random for me. Hopefully this weekend some.
Nice.
But who knows? But other than that, check out our Discord. We're just trying to build it up a little bit, and yeah, I think that's all. Oh no! Stay tuned in for Sunday's episode for sure because it's our Halloween spooky Louisville themed episode, and I think that is all we had. So beyond that, our topic for today is Louisville businesses.
Some of the top companies in Kentucky.
And actually, this is Louisville specific. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I missed the notes.
I mean they probably also spreads to Kentucky,
Huh.
but these are one specifically based in Louisville. So this is all Louisville employment and everything that we're going to be talking about. It's not statewide. So imagine what
okay.
some of these numbers could be for some of these
Huh.
companies if it was statewide. Which we'll probably do that one day too. But basically our goal here today is to kind of introduce a little mini series we want to do talking about Louisville businesses and like the main businesses, public, private, the major employers, and then we're kind of just going to introduce the summaries today and then hopefully do a deeper dive on some of them at a later date. Probably more dedicated episodes to get into more detail. So
Yeah, there's a lot there.
there is, and again, this is just Louisville, so we could even expand it later. But this site for anyone interested is greaterlouisville.com. This is information from Business First December 2020, so fairly recent. I doubt anything's changed too terribly much since then, so.
Right after. Not much has changed since then.
I guess we'll start with the major employers, which, at no surprise, UPS is the top employer in Louisville, employing 25,000 people. So,
Wow.
that's pretty good. That's definitely a lot of people. And I know a lot of that's students, so that's awesome because it's hard for some students to find employment. But what's kind of interesting is the next top one is Jefferson County Public Schools. And what's interesting is it drops to 14,000. So it's kind of crazy that UPS employs that many more people than JCPS. That's a full 10,000.
We don't have a teacher shortage, do we?
I mean, no. I mean, in reality, that's
That's about average. I just was kind of confused by the drop, but yeah, that makes sense. That's really awesome that UPS is here, helping us employ that many people here locally.
and then the next one is Norton Healthcare, just under 14,000. Um, my mom actually worked for Norton Healthcare for a long time, like
Awesome.
15 or 20 years. I don't know.
Well, they've been around forever.
Yeah, 1886, man. That's got to be one of the oldest on this list. One of. There's a couple older, but yeah, I knew they were big, but I guess I didn't realize they were that big, as far as employment. So that's awesome. They do have quite a few hospitals though, so I guess it makes sense. The next top is Ford Motor Company at 13,000, and I mean that's no surprise there that they employ that many people. They have 2 plants though, that is across both locations, so that kind of is a lot for just 2 locations. Because you consider UPS, they have 25,000, but that's including warehouse workers across their multiple warehouses. That's including the UPS store where you go to drop off packages,
The drivers,
everything like that. Yeah. And then, of course, Ford's been here forever. 1913. When did the Model T come out? Sounds like it couldn't have been too much before that, right? Like
Right.
they've been here a long time. The next top is Humana at 12,000. So one thing about Louisville that is definitely a trend through all of these lists is healthcare companies. There's a lot of healthcare companies based in Louisville. That's kind of interesting. I would attribute it to the next and last one we're going to mention, but the U of L. Well, that's U of L Health, but of course U of L having the nursing training, the nursing schools, and all that. That probably attributes a lot to there being so many health-based companies in Louisville. Maybe
That makes sense, but yeah, I mean, if we're not the healthiest, then it makes sense to have a bunch of healthcare. I mean that.
well,
I mean, we're not gonna say that though.
well, we already said that.
Oh, did we say that?
And that brings us to the next category we were going to talk about. the top publicly traded companies of Louisville. So Humana is at the top with just under $65 billion in revenue.
Is that with a B?
That is billion with a B. And then the astronomical drop to $5.6 billion from Yum. Now, if Humana wasn't here, I would already think, like, wow, that's a lot of money Yum's bringing in, right? But then, wow, that's almost a $60 billion difference. You know what I mean? That's a lot of billions. Like that's not even a lot of money. That's just a lot of billions.
I haven't done the math yet, but I think that's more than all the other ones on the list combined.
Honestly, yeah, you got to be right there. That's just wild. And yeah, to your point, Yum is of course KFC, Taco Bell, all the good fast food we love. But Yum does, of course, they have the stadium here now, so I'm sure some of that money's in
that
there
too. So all the entertainment,
I would assume
I
so.
would think,
Yeah.
or, part of it. I'm sure part of it goes to
Yeah, parts
DeVito.
of it would go to Yum. And of course, again, this is total revenue. So, because they're publicly traded companies. So, I mean, who knows where all that money is really coming from, right? The next is Brown-Forman Corporation, which is bourbon and spirits producer. No shock there that Louisville has, or one of the top Louisville companies is a spirits producer at $3.36 billion.
And that's everything. That's Jack Daniels. That's Forrester. Like that's.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a whole lot of them. One I was really shocked to see on the list though was Texas Roadhouse at $2.76 billion. So you know what? Good for Texas Roadhouse for almost matching a freaking bourbon producer in the state of Kentucky.
Dude, it's the rose and that butter.
That
Cinnamon
butter, man, that cinnamon butter, it's amazing. They got all of their food is actually really good though. I've never been to Texas Roadhouse and been disappointed. Their ribs are always good. Their the burgers are good. I had Southern Fried Steak one time from there. It was really good. Like everything that they have is good. So they just can't have the peanuts anymore because it's a safety hazard apparently. Which I get. Those floors were slick, but I know a lot of people.
The best part is like you get bored, you just wait to eat some peanuts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you always had a ton of leftovers when you left because you fill up on a bunch of protein from the peanuts before you get to eat, and then you sit down and you eat more peanuts and like at least a half a dozen rolls. I mean, of course.
The best part. The row is the best part.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Oh, Papa John's. Yeah, at 1.62 billion, which as Papa John, I don't know how I would feel about my pizza being outsold by that much by steak and rolls, but it's still, and you know what, that's actually kind of surprising considering all of what Papa John's has done through the years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, as a company.
Yeah, they've had some PR.
Of course, I was trying to avoid that a little bit, but they've
had a history.
As a company, they've done some pretty major things. So,
Pizza Week. And totally off subject, but I guess we'll have to kind of mention them a little bit during Pizza Week, just being.
I mean, they'll get a mention, but
just
they're not part of Pizza Week because
no, not at all. They're not. Yeah.
I mean, you can get Papa John's anywhere, and I mean that's part of why they're on this list and that they are that high up. That they're everywhere. And the last one from the publicly traded companies that we're going to mention, which I also find interesting, is Churchill Downs at $1.33 billion. And I find that particularly interesting because if you look just above at the very bottom of the major employers list is Churchill Downs with just 1,000 employees. So like that employment to revenue ratio is kind of impressive.
Think about if UPS was able to
right.
make that with every 1,000 employees.
All they gotta do is start letting people gamble on how fast people get their boxes, man. That's it. But no, of course, Churchill Downs they're a big staple anyways outside of the gambling, just for races in general. I mean, they've been around forever. Like 1875 is what this list says. So,
right, and it's not just that one day, right?
Exactly.
That's the whole year.
The Derby isn't the only race that happens. It's just
clean up.
It's a historical race and everything. And then yeah, exactly. So good for them though. our last real category is the top private sector companies. And to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about any of these. I've heard of a few of them, but initially I wasn't even going to include these, but then I saw an interesting trend. So the top private sector company is Bright Spring Health Services, 4.86 billion. Next is Kindred Healthcare LLC, 3.2 billion. Steel Technologies, 2.37 billion. And Signature Healthcare LLC, 1.13 billion. 3 out of the top 4 private sector companies are healthcare services. And again, I don't know anything about these companies, but I think it'd be interesting to just kind of see, like, are they in the same field? Do they all just happen to excel at doing different things to make themselves that profitable in Louisville? Like, what exactly is the trend there? You know what I mean? Because they're all pretty close in local, like, actual employment numbers too. So
But in kind of range as far as the years,
yeah,
like they were founded. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
it's yeah. You got what, 10 years and then like 20 years. So I just there seems to the key to success in Louisville apparently is to be in healthcare because between Humana being at $65 billion and then all of these companies, I just think that's an interesting trend. So
Definitely.
hopefully we can dive into that one day and I don't know, just try to see if we can see if there's a reason for it, and who knows, maybe there's not, or maybe I'm not smart enough to figure it out when I start looking into it. But either way, I just thought it was an interesting trend. So
Definitely.
I think that's really all we had planned for this. Just wanted to introduce that topic again. We plan on kind of taking a deeper dive into those categories more specifically and those specific companies mentioned. Talk a little bit more, see if we can find out some more information about like breakdowns in that revenue, especially in the publicly traded companies. We should be able to find some information on them since they're publicly traded. So
Maybe go into a little bit more of their histories, how they were founded. If they were
Yeah,
founded here, how they got it or transferred
exactly.
here,
Or
and
like why are they here?
Right.
Like with UPS, I mean, I've always made some assumptions over the years, but who knows? Maybe we dig into it and find something else.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
So that's the goal with this series. Again, don't forget about our next episode dropping on Sunday, and we're gonna be talking about Halloween based or Halloween themed stuff and like spooky, supernatural, etc. things based in Louisville and Kentucky. So should be a good time. And I guess with that, as always, be blessed, bless someone around you.
See you all next time.
Yep, we'll see you later.